Okay, it's that three. Usually, people from Google join, and it looks like this week they're not going to be. Welcome everyone. I see a couple of new faces. Do you like to introduce yourself? And also, sorry, I'm going to share my screen. I apologize. I'm going to share my screen. And I share. This is so weird. Moment I share my screen, pops to my other window. Right. Sorry. So we good opportunity if people can add their names to this list, so that we get to know who's participating. It could be helpful for us. Like I said, is there anybody who'd like to introduce yourself who's new to this group?
Yeah, this is Rahul from Microsoft. Yeah, this is my first time joining this meeting, so nice to meet all of you guys, and yeah, look forward to working with you.
Welcome, Rahul. Okay, perfect. Let's get into the agenda of the meeting. One of the things that I think Raghav put in, it looks like Raghav is not here today. If you want to talk about the GIS supply chain benchmark, looks like it's not there, not here. We probably will move this to next meeting. The next agenda item is the scorecard API results. This PR got merged in, so essentially the scorecard API results should come out. I don't know the exact date. Azim is working on this, but Azim is working on integrating this into the result. But that said, there are certain enhancements that went into scorecard recently. The scorecard badges came out. So essentially, that's an update that I don't want to take Azim's work, but Azim put in a PR recently when it's still in beta right now, and we are going to be using that API, that endpoint to start serving the scorecard. And I'm trying to see this is the recent change Azim put in, and we are going to be utilizing that for our API. That was one update from me on that. I also added another item that I want to talk with the rest of the team, but the rest of the maintainers aren't there in this call, so I'll probably push this to our next release. But I'll just give a highlight as to my suggestion is to add a release information to the cron jobs, which essentially means in the API, we'll get the release information part of this cron, so that that was my suggestion about this feature. I want to get a buy-in from the I want to get a buy-in and also an opinion from the rest of the rest of the team, and also if anybody else has any opinion on this. Just want to pause right now and let others talk.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a very useful feature. As we're discussing other project that I was doing, I think if we can get this information, I think that would be really useful.
Great, Shripad. Shripad, if you don't mind, can you comment on this issue? It'll be helpful to understand people. And also, if you can mention why it'll be helpful, that way it is easier to drive why it is easier to add that use case to, so that makes it critical for us to whether we want to proceed or not.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll do that. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Does anyone else has any suggestions, comments on this? If not, I'm going to move on to the next item. I'm going to present this again for our next scorecard biweekly. Aiden, do you want to take it over? I'm going to stop my share.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, so for the Scorecard API, I don't have a concrete suggestion for that, but I think it would be pretty helpful to my feature. So I see several new faces to our meeting, so I'll give a brief introduction to my feature. The motivation of my feature is the current scorecard. If we give it a ripple, it checks the security state of the the specified ripple. And what we want to do is to shift the current checking mode from checking the current ripple to checking the dependencies of the current ripple, so that the scorecard can help the users to get a better understanding of their dependencies of their project. So for this purpose, I developed the API for the user to see the dependency changes, or what we might call it dependency diffs, of the two specified code commit or two code branches of the ripple. And
Aiden, yeah. Sorry, you're not sharing your screen. If you want to, if you want.
Oh, of course. Sorry. Yeah, let me share my screen here. So the API is already here in position. So basically, we'll have the similar input parameters as the package.run scorecard, which is here. Oh, actually, I forgot where it is. Yeah. So basically, we will give it a context, and this is the repo URI, the OSF/scorecard, and we also need to give it a base and a head, so we can use both. It could be a commit SHA or a branch name reference like min or dev, and also the head. And also we need to specify the checks to run. This is similar to the run scorecard, where we need to specify a list of checks like fuzzing, security policy, intent or license, things like that. The API is already here, and I think it is ready for callers or users to use. Although the current running mode of this is to run the scorecard checks on every dependencies, which is a little bit slow, but this problem can be fixed with the Scorecard API, the REST server. We can shift the running the Scorecard checks on every dependency to simply querying the REST API to get the Scorecard result for the ripples, and that will optimize the running speed of the API, and it will be faster.
Can I ask you a question right now? Sorry.
Yes.
Oh, I'm playing question as to somebody is new to this. Is it what is the dependency diff API's goal is? Is it because I'm getting a new PR? It is to make sure if I add a new dependency, it runs scorecards and give me what is the goal?
I think the goal is to I think it's not to show the users the dependency diff or the changes, because GitHub already has this API.
No, but this is supposed to run scorecard for those new dependencies, right? So essentially, if I add a dependency that has a 0-day or isn't maintained, is having fuzzing failures, I am aware of that with this API. That's the goal. Okay.
Yes.
I just want to reiterate for new users who aren't aware of what this is all about. Sorry, I'm not trying to.
Yeah, thank you so much, Naveen.
Anything.
Yeah. Let me just reclaim the goal of the API. The API's purpose is to surface the scorecard check results like the security states of the dependencies, whether these dependencies are maintained, have fuzzing deployed, or have any like sort of vulnerabilities. The scorecard will perform all of these security checks on them and give these results to the user on the dependency diffs. Yeah, this is the purpose. Yeah, so the next thing is the CLI. So basically, I'm using this CLI in the command line version of the scorecard, and also in the scorecard action. So I'm going to show the first demo. This is the CLI. Let me stop this sharing and switch to my terminal. Terminal.
So one question, Aaron. So if there are multiple dependencies, if there are multiple dependency change in some commit, right? So does it aggregate the result, or does it show it separate result for each dependency?
It will show separate dependencies, like each dependency as an entry, like in the result. Yeah, I'll show you the end-to-end demo, and you'll understand how this shows. So this is the scorecard folder, and what we can do is to use this scorecard directly. This is the original usage of the scorecard CLI, and I'm creating a new subcommand for the scorecard, the dependency diff mode. So this is the subcommand of the scorecard. And there are several flags available for the CLI. So to match these inputs with the API's input parameters, the first flag we need is ripple. Like this is used to specify the ripple we're going to check. And another thing is this. So we can specify a base. Oh, sorry. We can specify a base and a head. So I'm using the main branch and the dev branch as the base and the head for now. So basically, the API will handle this branch name reference and to the latest commit to the branch. So we can either use the branch name or the commit shop for these two flags. And next flag might be checks. Let's see the maintain and the license. And this, I think this command is ready. I'll just copy and paste my previous command here. Sorry. Yeah, so this is like how the command looks like. We need to specify the like the scorecard experimental flag 1 to use this feature, since this is still a experimental one. And then the scorecard and dependency diff to switch to the subcommand, and the ripple, and then the base and the head, and then the checks. And since the default output format of this CLI is JSON, so I'm using a JSON. I'm using the JSON parser to output the result. What is wrong with? The thing is, I don't have the. Yeah, I've deleted the dev branch. Let me create a new branch in my ripple. So let's say we have a ripple here, and this is the main branch, and I create a new branch called dev, which is for like another feature or something new. And I'm doing some changes on the dev branch. And so there will, let's say there are some dependency updates and some removed ones. So I'll change this. Manifest file to a new one and commit changes. and now the depth branch, this depth branch contains some like new dependencies or some removed dependencies, and I can use the CLI to see the changes. The CLI now is ready to go. Yeah. So I think we need to wait for like 30 seconds or maybe even longer to have the result, because like the current running mode is to actually run the scorecard checks on every dependency. So it's pretty slow. And eventually we'll have a JSON object here where like each dependency will be an independent item in the JSON. Like this is the first dependency and then the next dependency. So there are like the change type of the dependency added, meaning the dependency is a new one, like a newly added one. And we also have like the package URL for the dependency and the source REPL. And this is the manifest file path that contains this dependency. And we also have the ecosystem package version. And this field here contains the scorecard result for this dependency package. Like we specify the checks here to maintain and license. So we'll have the maintained check and also the license check here. We'll have the score for this check, the reasons and documentation details. All of the like the security result field will be in this JSON result. And here are the next dependency. And the next. So if the source REPL of this dependency is a null one, we'll just leave the scorecard result as a null. And we also have like removed dependencies. We can use the change type to tell them. Yeah. So this is the usage of the CLI, and I have like several questions in the agenda about the CLI. So I think maybe we can talk about them together. The first question is, so I'm not sure if this is like an actual requirement for the user. Like I'm not sure if the user would actually use this in a command line, to manually type these two branches and the checks and actually run this command. I think this is most likely to be used as the program call rather than like using this in a command. So yeah, I'm not very sure of the the scenario of using this CLI.
I'm gonna take an opportunity and talk about this. First of all, great. Thanks for doing this. Second thing is, if we have an API, we want to be careful about like if we are sure about this. I really nice that you made this experimental, so we can do a release with experimental and get some feedback on this, especially with the Scorecards API, the REST endpoint. And the moment that comes on, when this one, I'm hoping we will be able to change this one to point to that instead of running it through everything. It will be a good feature to have, because that way people can, hey, I don't need to depend on scorecard actions or any of that to utilize. I can run this by meaning anybody would be able to run this. So I personally feel it's a great option to have in the CLI, because it makes people easier instead of them having to figure out how to use the Go API to do all the work.
Yes, and another thing in my head is like the current output format of this CLI is just JSON, and maybe like in the future we can add something more. Like we know that. Let me just share my screen. I know the default output format of scorecard is there's a table. There's a table for that, and maybe we can also support that output format for the dependency div. And that might be, maybe easier for the users to see the result. Oh,
I think, I think the table format is being we want to remove the table format because it is always painful to maintain the table format. So we want to try on
like
these.
this one.
So yeah, right. This is always hard. So we can, for the subcommand, say the output is only going to be JSON, because putting all of this into a table format is extremely hard. So we could potentially, you could add that into your PR, into an issue, to say we're going to do only JSON for this. And people haven't been, let me be honest, people haven't been really happy with table format. It's extremely hard because as the data get blown up, it gets wrapped up and it's extremely hard to read. But we never thought when we came with table format initially, all of this is going to be an issue. So we never thought there's going to be the remediation, documentation, all those links, and we were going to dump all the debug information in the table format. That's what really messed up the formatting, which made it really hard.
Yes. See, I think I'll just use the JSON as the default format in the first version, and maybe just create a PR and ask, should we add more, or maybe just stop with JSON? Yes. So this is the first issue with this CLI, and before we talk about the second thing, let's just get the action one to run, because it's pretty slow and we don't want to wait for that. So let me just get the action one to run. So the scorecard action dependency visualization is basically another version of this feature. Like I'm using the API in the action to visualize the dependency div result in two ways. The first is as a PR comment, and the second one is as annotations. So I'll show them separately later, but first let's just get this run. So we have a dev branch here, and this is dev branch. And let me see. I've already have the action. This is the action file here. So the event listener is set to a pull request to the main branch. So once there is a new pull request, wants to merge like the code into the main branch, it will trigger the workflow. And so since we already have a dev branch here, let me just change something like dev and create a new pull request, like the patch 2. This is going to be a new pull request. Create a pull request. So you should be able to see there's a. Oh, sorry. I should merge this one into main. So let me just change something at the main branch and create a new pull request. Yeah, so we can see there is a pre-submit check here. So basically, I'm running the dependency div on this PR and use this patch 3 as hat and the main as base. So I can see the dependency div and the scorecard result on the dependencies, like in a PR comment here, and also in the annotations of the file. So this is gonna take like 3 minutes or maybe 4 minutes to finish this check. So let me just switch back to the CLI part. So another thing about the CLI is I find like the base flag and the head flag might not be that obvious to or explicit for users to use. Like we can either give them a commit SHA or branch name reference. So I would think maybe the name like base and the name hat might not be that, you know, proper for this purpose. Like
yeah. So I have I have mostly if somebody has to, and probably add docs to what is base, like base and head in the dependency diff, having that as a doc would certainly help. Having that in the, like, when I start that giving a specific example always plays better. So giving an example with two different examples, one is actually branch name, and also commit SHA as two examples would certainly be really helpful. So what is base? Okay, so giving an example. Okay, that's nice. Yes, I think that is good. But also specifically calling out of how this would, and actually saying what the dependency diff would provide would obviously be a lot more helpful. Like because we assume that people are going to know what the dependency diff is. So doing a little bit of write-up as to what the dependency diff is would be a great addition to this CLI.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I'll make the doc part better. This is just because we still have some discussion, about the name of the base flag and the head flags in the PRs. So we haven't decided which name to use for these two flags. So I'll definitely make the docs more clearer, so that the user will understand how these two flags works. Let me see if the action already gives me the result. I need to share this screen. Last. This is because I just changed the README file for this, and I'm not changing the dependencies. So actually, I have a previous result for this. It should be here. So after the check run, we'll see like a visualization thing. Like this is the comment, PR comment left by the GitHub actions. So we can see like the dependency changes, whether it's an added one, updated one, or a removed one. So you can see there's one dependency per line. Like this Go Cloud is added, and it has a aggregate score of 9.2. And this one should be the 6 star. This one is also added, and it has a score of 2.5. And for the version 0, we're not providing this, the aggregation scores on the removed ones, since it costs a lot of time to run the Scorecard, and the users might not want to know, too much details about the removed dependencies. So this is just like a design for the version 0, and if we want to run the checks on the removed ones, we can definitely change this in future versions. So this is the visualization as a PR comment. And another part about the visualization in action is here. So since our purpose is to surface the Scorecard checking results for the dependencies, and we can't put like too many things in the comments. Otherwise, this comment would be like super long and would span the entire PR. So I have another visualization here in the, where is that? Sorry. I also left some code annotations in the cross-bounding manifest file, like since the dependencies are Go dependencies, So we can see some annotations in the Go mod manifest file. So the annotation is generated on a per check basis. So we might see like different annotations with the same dependency package, but with a different check items. Like this one is for maintain, and this one is for license, but both of the annotations are for this GoCloud.dev.
I have a question here.
Yes.
What about transitive dependencies? Because like transitive dependencies make a lot of like I could be bringing in a transitive dependency. How are you with the visualization?
Yes.
How would those come in?
Yes, for Go long, the like the transitive dependencies is also in this result, but like our data source, the GitHub dependency review API, it doesn't tell the transitive dependencies and the direct dependencies. It simply makes them up together.
Okay,
So,
but your go.mod will not have all the transitive dependencies. It's in the go.sum.
yes, some of them are in the log file.
And no, in the go. The go.mod and the go.sum. The go.sum has
yes.
The go.sum has the transitive dependencies. So if you're gonna add annotation, are you gonna add annotation to go.mod and go.sum? Because then it's going to become, which one should I look for? If going with the annotation is the right approach, probably think of using go.sum.
Yes.
Because I think go.sum has everything that the go.mod requires. Again, I'm not an expert on how the go.mod or go.sum works, but I have a little bit of knowledge to say some of this information is there in the go.sum, which is not there in the go.mod.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to make this clearer. So like the current data source API, the GitHub dependency review, will use both the manifest file and the log file. And the reason I'm only using a Go log file is this is a simpler for demo. But yeah, definitely we can also see the changes in the Go.sum, the log file. And it does work, like the GitHub API does work for a Go manifest file and a Go log file. But I remember there was one time when I was testing it on the Python's manifest file and the Python log file, and it seems the API just confused the dependencies in these two files. Like for a Python ecosystem, like it will put all of the indirect dependencies in the pip.log, or I don't remember the name. It's the log file of the Python package manager, and the GitHub dependency review API simply just gives all of the indirect dependencies in the pip.log file. So this is definitely something pretty confusing, and I've already shipped a ticket to the team of this API to ask like the details of this API, and like is this a bug or something like will be provided in the future versions. And we do have an issue on this that says maybe like in the future we'll choose a better data source API to perform this analysis and this visualization. But currently, yeah, we do have several issues for this data source API. And of course, this API will analysis the Go mod and the Go.sum together. It didn't tell whether this is a direct dependency or an indirect dependency. But all of these dependencies will show here in the annotations and in the comment. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is the second end-to-end demo of the usage of the API. The first is the CLI, and the second one is the visualization as a part of the scorecard action. So let me see if there are any. Yeah, I have several issues or questions to discuss about this one. So the first one is like the current configuration is to run the visualization on every commit to a pull request. So I remember, Naveen, you talked about like maybe we should make this configurable. So I was just thinking, should we do that? Because we have another example, the code curve. So basically code curve will run on every commit to compute the the coverage difference of the branch in the PR and the mid branch or something. So I was thinking, should we make this just leave this as same as the code curve one, or should we make this maybe just run this once for a pull request or something like that?
If it all depends on it. I'm going to come back to the REST endpoint. The moment the REST endpoint comes, we'd be able to do it for every commit because it's just REST calls. It's extremely cheap to do that. And we can also run them concurrently. We don't have to be sequential. We should be able to run them concurrently. We should be able to get those results pretty quickly. Up until then, my suggestion would be is running it on every commit is going to cost. It's going to slow down significantly, and we'll be throttling. We'll be hitting our API rate limits, and that would be the problem. And like you mentioned, it'll be nice to default should be every commit. I'm not saying now when the REST endpoint comes in. Again, my 2 cents on this. The second, and people should be able to configure those, whether do I really care between commits or between my last commit and my head -1. That's where do I care. But that could be an option that we can, that could be right now, that could be the default right now. But later, as the REST endpoint comes in, utilizing those things, utilizing between every commit should become a default.
Yes. Oh, actually, there's another thing I forgot to mention. So, like in the current implementation of the pre-check submit, pre-submit check, I'm using the round tripper implemented in the Scorecard repo. So I know the round tripper has a built-in API limiter, right?
Yep.
So yes. So I haven't tested this in the action, but I think, if it runs multiple times on a lot of dependencies, it might just simply hit the API limit.
It's going to hit the API limit and it's going to block.
Yeah, and gives an error on the check.
Yeah, it blocks based on, it figures out what's the next limit and blocks until then, because the API rate limit comes back and says how long should we wait before we go about doing it. So the round trip are already aware of that.
Yes. So I guess like for a pre-submit check, if it is blocked by API limiter and it is time out or something, maybe the pre-submit check will just fail. And
I don't know, to be honest. Right now, I don't.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to test this. Yeah, I'm going to test. Yeah, make this a test later. And let me see if there are any other things. This should be fine. And for this one, so I'm a little concerned of the comment being too long, or maybe we generate a new comments every time, so our comments will just spam the whole PR.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
I just found a way to update a previous comment, so we don't need to create a new one every time. So I think the last one should be fine. Yeah, as long as we don't make every comment not too long, and I think it should be fine. Yeah. Let me see. So I've already shoot the visualization PR to the Scorecard action repo, but I'm definitely gonna add some unit test coverage for it before they get merged. Yeah, I think that's it for my demo and my questions. And I'm always welcome to any feedbacks or advices on that. You can leave a comment in the cross-button PR in the scorecard repo or scorecard action repo. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop my sharing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll share my screen, making sure. Okay. So right now we don't have any other agenda items. It's open. We certainly have about another 17 minutes. Does anyone else have any other questions that they want to, or do they want to share anything else, updates, anything? Okay. Looks like we don't have any other questions or comments, anything on that. We usually pick who's gonna do it next time. I've been running this facilitation for probably quite a few times. Does anyone else want to take? I don't know what date it's going to be. Sorry. It is going to be the 11th, 8/11. If anyone else wants to take it? Right. I'm going to for now add Azim. I know though Azim is not here, I want to add Azim. I can let him up to let him know that he's going to do this.
Yeah, I think he'll he'll be here for the next meeting. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. If he's not around, I'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But that's where it is. All right. Thanks everyone. See you all in the next
Thank you,
weeks.
Naveen.
Thank you. Bye bye.
See you.